Hello, welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk a bit about shaving wood. A few methods, a few techniques that might come in handy for making curls, feather sticks, shavings, for fire building or other applications. Might be useful for some carving tasks. So, I've got a few. Stick around. I'm going to get right into it. So the first one, I like to refer to as a point in a log, because I stick the point of the knife into a piece of wood, a log, a stump, whatever, as long as it's solid. And then I stabilize the knife handle with my non-dominant hand. For me, that's my left hand. And I usually pull it back toward me just a little bit and further stabilize it by resting my hand and the end of the handle against my torso somewhere. And now, take a piece of wood in my right hand, just place it up against the edge of the knife right there, and just draw that back, just like that. Nice and easy, consistent pressure, consistent angle, just like that. Oh, slipped. There we go. I can get it to bite, there it is. And with this method, you can be very, very selective with the actual angle that you're cutting, because you can see everything that's going on, and only one thing is moving, and that is the piece of wood and not the knife. So you can make these cuts as shallow or as deep as you want, whatever your preference is, whatever is most efficient with your particular knife. Just like that. I cut one off, but that's alright. Piles of shavings are just as useful as a feather stick, with all the curls and shavings still attached, in my opinion. And I think I'm going to call that good right about there. That'll work. So you can see it's not incredibly pretty, very, very useful though. Perfectly functional feather stick there. Now, this method is one that I would use caution with if you're using a folding knife, because it can fold. Even if it's a locking blade, the lock can fail. If you have a back lock, right, with the lock that sits somewhere back in this region or in the center there, and you have your hand wrapped around, my fingers and my thumb are where the lock would be on most lock back knives. You can also mess with a liner lock or a frame lock with your hand right here. So use caution with that. If it's a slip joint, this is not one that I would use pretty much at all. You could hold it like this, but that gets really awkward, and I just don't really like that. So a slip joint, I wouldn't really use this method all that much. A locking knife, I would, with caution. Works really, really well with a fixed blade knife though. So that's one method. Alright, we'll cut those feathers off there. I'm going to get a spot right here cleaned up a little bit I can use for next method. And that one is simply bracing the knife against the same piece of wood, and instead of pulling the wood with my right hand, I'm going to pull the wood with my left hand this time. I'm going to sit right here, pull that back just like so. You can see you can make some really long curly shavings right there. So this one also works quite well, as you can see. And both of these methods are really good, I think, because the knife is stabilized on something that's not really going to move all that much. And there we go. Nice curls there. Those are actually nicer than the first ones I made. So, pretty good. All right, now then, I'm gonna move the camera and everything to a little bit different locations so I can show you some other methods that do not involve a stable surface. All right, so now I'm on the ground here. I'm going to show a couple different methods here. The first one, I'm actually going to switch knees here. You can do this with either side. But I usually prefer to use my non-dominant side for this. So I'm going to brace, get the dirt off my knee, brace my hand against my knee right there, just like that. Could do it down here, could do it up here, wherever's most comfortable. I think right now I'm going to go right there. And I'm going to do the same as I did with that log, only this time it's braced against my knee or my thigh or wherever is most comfortable. Just like that. Nice and easy, fairly efficient. I like to use my non-dominant side for this, for the resting knee, because if I were to do this with my dominant side, that's fine, but the point of that knife points into what is known as the triangle of death, which is the area between your knees and your groin. That's a place you do not want a knife to go. If I do it on this side, it's completely outside of everything. Right? So I prefer that. Alright, so there's one that doesn't require a stable surface. Let's do another one. Straight arm. I'm going to keep that way out in front of me. Actually, I'm going to cut that off. Straight arm right out in front of me, just like that. And everything is falling off, but it is making curls, but you can't tell that because they're falling off. So let's cut that right there. There we go. Straight arm, locked out elbow, locked wrist, everything nice and solid, pulling the piece of wood back toward me. All right, works good. That's a good one. All right, what about chest lever? All right, I'm gonna set that down for a second and get this out of the way. Stick that in that pocket. Chest lever. All right, so here I'm gonna take the knife, plant it just below my rib cage. That's where it's most comfortable for me. Right there. I'm gonna plant that, keeping a bit of an angle pointing to my left side and pretty well parallel with the ground, straight out from my chest. Right. I don't want to do this because that's pointing toward my face and my neck. I don't want to do this because that's honestly just not very comfortable and kind of points down to other places I don't want the knife to go. So I'm going to keep that straight out in front of me right there. And this stays stationary, doesn't move. Keep my elbow back, up tight against my side, and I can take the piece of wood and I can drag it right there, just like that. There we go. Now they're not falling off. Pull that just like so. This one takes a little getting used to because it feels very awkward. Once you get used to it, it works pretty well. That's some nice feathers, curls going there. So, that's another good one. I'm going to do one more. Okay. One more that doesn't require any special stable area. And that is to place the piece of wood right here and keep the piece of wood stable now. Don't move it. Outside my thigh. And since I'm right-handed, I do this on top of my right thigh. So I'm going out this way. And then I can move the knife just like that. And that one works really well also. Got some good curls going there. That's pretty good. This is also a good method to use if you need to apply a lot of force, because you can stabilize that wood against your thigh. Lock your arm and your elbow and use your shoulder to drive that knife down, just like that. And you can get some really deep cuts going by pushing in with your body weight and your shoulder, just like that. Nice big feathers there. So, pretty good methods, I think. They'll work pretty good. And there we go. There's a few methods for carving and shaving, making feathers and curls. Pretty useful knife skills in my opinion. It's a good thing to know how to do. This video idea actually came about from a text I got from a buddy of mine. Sent me a message and said, "Bro, finally cracked the code of feather sticks." It was my hands and not the knife or the piece of wood. It was angles and force. And I was very happy for him that he figured it out. It's such an exciting thing to figure out how to make a nice feather stick, nice curls. It's very exciting. So, hope you all found this video interesting and informative and entertaining and all those things. And if you did, we'd definitely appreciate it if you hit the like button, share the video with your friends, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've tried these, what you think of them. If there's other methods that I didn't mention, drop those in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber to the channel. Would appreciate that also. And until next time, go forth, enjoy yourself, and always come home safe.